Type stuff.
Hopefully.
You're out of your front row.
You know, yeah, I'm back in the gallery here. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. This is Dave Johnson, the chair of the Charter Review Committee, and we are here at 1747 according to the training room clock at the Paxton Public Safety Complex. It's November the 3rd in the year of 2025, and I'm going to call this meeting to order. First matter on the business is to discuss the meeting minutes from our previous meeting, which was October 6th of 2025. That's
So the 6th is an error, it's the 27th.
27th.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, with nobody having any objection, I'll amend that. Okay. Does anybody have anything to contribute with respect to the 27 October 2025 meeting minutes? I see none.
I have.
You do have.
This is just Dave's with no apostrophe, so I just propose putting an apostrophe in Dave's opening remarks.
Oh, okay. I guess we need to.
Boom.
Can we make that amendment without anybody, a friendly amendment? Okay. Anything else, Dad? Gary?
No?
Paul? Megan and Chuck. Okay. I therefore ask for a vote. Shall we accept the meeting minutes as changed?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous? Very well. Now we'll move. I'm going to try to move fast because we really do need to start talking about articles and getting on track with that. We're moving pretty good. I think we've got a taste for it. First of all, I'll ask if our distinguished guest who's present.
No, you're all good.
Is anything to say?
Nope, you're all good.
I was looking forward to coming here and having a little, I don't know, hissy fit over the inability to post things on this smart board. I'm starting to learn the language here. But between Chuck and doing it now and the efforts of the town administrator at a meeting that I attended with Gary for the cable committee. It may say Cable Communications Committee, but it's not the Cable Committee. It's the Cable Committee, not the Cable Communications Committee. Communications being apparently something that I just found out it's a vendor. So the whole idea of the cords and all that sort of stuff and the management of this thing. In any event, after that meeting, we had some additional information that I'll share with you offline, but the bottom line is that it's working now, and I just feel so good now because I can see this on there. And I don't know, feels like a win. Any comments, updates, remarks from the committee members on committee members on any matters? Item 4 on the agenda.
So there was an article that we had, the only article that we previously approved. It was on Article 1, and it had to deal with the powers, the existence and authority. And it was on the general town powers. There was section 1-3, and it reads, by adoption of this charter, it is the intent of the Paxton voters to secure all powers possible for a municipal government under the laws of the Commonwealth. That's how it reads. We're going to be talking about some definitions, and I know that you have specifically identified the term general laws with a capital G and a capital L. And I'm wondering whether or not under that section 1-3, instead of it reading the laws of the Commonwealth, it actually should read the general laws of the Commonwealth.
Okay, let me explain a little bit about that, and I'm not sure if I put it in that, the definitions that we're hopefully going to get to tonight, but the laws of the Commonwealth are the following. The Constitution of the Commonwealth, any amendments to the Constitution of the Commonwealth, They are the general laws, capital G, capital L. They are the general laws, lowercase g, lowercase l. They are the acts and resolves, which are the session laws. They are any special legislation, which is a session law, just got a different little label. It's any regional law that might be or agreement. It's also the bylaws and the charter. So the laws of the Commonwealth are and judicial decisions. The laws of the Commonwealth are a whole lot of things. They are not the same. General laws with a G capitalized and an L capitalized, or with a G and L not capitalized, are a subset of the laws of the Commonwealth, but they are not all of the general laws of the Commonwealth, all of the laws of the Commonwealth.
So the laws, the small l is broader.
Well, that's a matter of discussion.
Well, I'm only questioning whether or not we need to change it. So if
Yeah,
you're
I
saying
think-
that it doesn't need to be changed, then I'm happy to move on, and then we'll go back on our agenda.
Okay, I think we should just table that for a little bit, because frankly, I don't know the answer to that, because by putting all of this stuff in there, and I put it in there because it's in somebody else's chart, some of the other charters I looked at, I figured we needed to resolve it. But I'm not sure that we want to kind of mince all of the laws of the Commonwealth into that many things. I don't want you guys to get afraid of, all of this stuff. It's bad enough that hyper technicality kinds of make things scary. But I will say that we can amend that if necessary after we have our discussion on.
That's fine.
Okay? And, these are not, our approving them means that we're, ready to get going on them and move on to the next one. But by all means, it's not a process that we're not going to be revisiting that when we put it all in there and try to basically compile it. All right. Anything else that, thanks, Gary. That's very appropriate, and I'm glad you pointed that out. And I'm not looking forward to trying to deal with that definitions, I tell you that much. Being that said, anything else, Chuck?
Well, I do have a question in terms of standardizing some of the formatting.
Yep.
Like, I can think the earlier we do that, then it's the less we have to change back. Is that a discussion now? Should we discuss that as we discuss?
Well, let's have a general discussion, not getting into this. The one problem about formatting is that one of the things that you mentioned in that, and I highly thank you for getting into this ahead of time, because it's something that we should probably discuss, and we'll discuss right now a little bit. Formatting, for some reason, and I learned this in the very first proposed piece of legislation that I filed, a simple little 2-paragraph thing. But it came back rejected from the legal whatever to the Massachusetts House of Representatives Committee on Criminal Justice or something like that. And it said you didn't follow House format. So I didn't even know there was such a thing as House format. I thought, what I learned in English, capitalizing this and all that stuff. But that came back as they told me, no, you capitalized cities and towns, excepting the city of Worcester and blah, 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 in the paragraph. And apparently they don't like, the legislature does not like having the word town or the word city, even though it's of town of Paxton, city of Worcester. They don't like city and town. That's something that's apparently there. So that got sent back, and I don't want to get anything sent back. I'm still in the process of trying to figure out, back in those days, had a little bit more direct insight and outreach to a representative. That's something we have to, cultivate as we go along in this process. But I have yet to find the rules of House, the blue book, if you will.
Like an AP style guideline.
There you go.
I think for what you're getting at is we just need to establish some consistency in our editorial guidelines for this whole thing, because there's two. So sometimes we cap, sometimes we don't, sometimes we, so I just think for us, we want to be consistent.
Okay, so I will tell you, unless we establish, and Chuck's point is coming to fruition here,
unless we establish something, I'm going to be all over the place, because I'm going to, just, and then we'll have to go back over it and all that stuff. So maybe we should come up with a little bit of our own rules of style of how to do that. Now, I don't think we should start to debate that right now. I would suggest if Chuck and Megan, if you're willing to join that group, the two of you could get together and just come up with a little bit of a proposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm thinking just like select board, like things that are specific, it's a specific application where like select board, town clerk, like we'll start with like those capitalizations because then it's clarity, readability.
Right.
But I'm also thinking in terms of like a lot of it, everything is bolded. Some of the draft things. So I think we have it like a hierarchy, like where we have the article is bolded and underlined, the section is bolded, and the rest of it is regular. Like something like that too. And then we can always revisit it. But does that make sense to people? And
It
then we
does.
can always,
It does. The only question obviously will come is that when we finally get down to do this, one of the things I really hope to accomplish at some point, and you'll see this in the talking, I'm going to present to our report to the select board next week, is that there's just town of Paxton, select board. Select board is not capitalized under the, so if we,
it's not, we mean it's not capitalized.
it's not
Where?
capitalized. In legislation, it's not capitalized. Select board is lowercase s, lowercase b. If it's the first word in a sentence, select would be capitalized, but the board would not. It's too much for us to have, what they like, what we like, what we were taught, and what I was taught in law school. I used to get marked down on a lot of papers in law school when I would.
I'd be happy to do a quick editorial guideline for us to.
That would be,
Yeah.
and then we'll follow that.
We'll figure it out
And then when the
after.
time comes, but I'm hoping that
Yeah.
we get some sort of advice from somebody that, town council, whatever, at some point in time, we get a chance to,
Yeah.
work with them and have them review what we're doing, just so that we can say, hey, how much is this still, it's been a while since I've been doing that stuff, so, hopefully the legislature's a little bit more progressive in that regard, but,
I'll do some digging. I'll let you know what we find.
all right,
See what the state does too. They must have one.
outstanding.
And then other things like bullet points, whether it's, numbered or lettered or, just again, consistency of how we're ordering things. But again, underline, bold, all these. One section was, centered versus left margin, even so spacing. And a lot of those things, again, are going to be down in the weeds. But whether we want to start applying that consistency now or just doing that all after the fact. But I think the more we can be consistent now, the less work we'll have to do
Right.
at the end.
as long as whatever we decide is consistent with what somebody will accept.
That's right.
Sure.
Very good. I appreciate that. And it's good to be doing this since we're on Article 2 and, we haven't got to terrible, but I'll love the Paxton Charter Review Committee Blue Book. I think would be great. Okay. Anything else to discuss about Article 5?
Article 5.
Article 4, excuse me. Boy, it's right in front of me
The
twice.
agenda.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Okay, item 5.
You indicated cable committee meeting?
Yep.
You gonna talk about that, or we can
Yeah, I'm just going to tell you that I learned, and Gary learned, that they didn't have any idea what we wanted them to do. And some of the things that apparently that we wanted to do, they can't do because either of broken equipment or whatever. The problem we're having last week with plugging into this board and all that stuff, that is something that's beyond the scope of responsibility for the cable group, and Scott's assistance efforts were beyond what they do. I mentioned cable and communications committee. The communications is not something that the cable committee does. They are responsible for
essentially the stuff that comes out of the contract between the town of Paxton and Charter or Spectrum, which is basically the internet service and that sort of thing. So they do the TV, they do the WPAX, they do all that stuff, but they do not do things like computers and IT and the smart boards. Those are something that is.
Did we think they did? We thought they did?
Well, I thought they did, and
Because I think I was concerned because this was never discussed at our last meeting, and then you set up a meeting.
well, I set up a meeting because we were getting it's not working, and it's not our job to do it. I was in it the last meeting I set up. Now, keep in mind that I don't have to have approvals to set up to attend meetings, but with respect to the meeting, my initial concern was finding out what was going on, why we didn't have anybody at the soccer asylum, because everything I had been led to believe was that we were going to have them participating. And they didn't participate. And I will go offline with that because someone gave me the reason why it didn't happen, that they didn't participate, beyond the statement that that was something else, that's not cable communications, okay? But I'll go on that the fact that I was told that it was going to be happening, but it was unhappened, if you will, by a matter that's not executive session type of thing, but it was something that was, I'll tell you all offline, like I say. I still have to digest that one. So, and Gary was there, and like I said, I did publish the information to you guys saying that I was going to be meeting with these guys, and it was at 3 o'clock on Friday, and very interesting meeting. That's all I'll say. But you'll recall that as early as February of this year, shortly after we started, working in earnest, we had talked about the idea of having, talking heads, and I was talking to them about, we're going to ultimately be meeting with a lot of committees and stuff, and the vast majority of committees and boards and commissions meet at the senior center, which does not have the ability, like this room has, to televise. It has a piece of broken equipment there, and there's something about the cable that instead of going from, I really didn't quite understand, but apparently a cable goes from Paxton Center School, from the senior center building, and then from the senior center building over to the town hall, but it's on the second floor. And so anyway, apparently there's some problems, because I know that there were some committee meetings back in February of this year that we wanted to televise and get out there to see, the three of us meeting with the people and getting some feedback. But I don't want it to happen that we have to, have three people sitting there and making sure we're not violating open meeting things by deliberating when we would want to deliberate with some of these things. And televising thing is one heck of a way to make sure that you're on, have an open mind and are going to use the open meeting provisions for the purposes of making sure you pass these things out and get this information out to the public and see what we're doing, as opposed to having these kind of meetings that are a little bit, surreptitious type. Okay, so that's what that cable meeting was about. There's obviously another group out there that exists that's responsible for computers, which we don't have to worry about. They're responsible for the smart board, which apparently has something to do with the fact that Paul's computer didn't want to work that night. I don't understand that, quite frankly, because you got your screensaver on, but it couldn't get anything.
That's a relatively common thing. It's always tough to get things because there's so many different connections. There's so many different. I've been to a ton of conferences, and that's always an issue, right? It's a really, sometimes you just get the background and you can't get it up. So that's pretty common in terms of people connecting to projectors and connecting to different things, because there's so many different types of computers, different types of connections. So that's always tricky.
I always thought it was a standard. HDMI was a standard, and that, because I know I've gone on to various locations in the state and out of the state, and my stuff always seemed to plug in without any problems. The only time I had a
I
problem
mean,
was
tonight you don't have a regular HDMI.
Oh, yeah, I have an adapter.
I feel like we should stay relevant to the charter,
We move
right?
on to the next agenda
Yep.
item.
So the next agenda item is to discuss. Now, we have on the agenda, and I have to confirm that with the Select Board's administrator, but we have planned for and are on the agenda now to present a report next week on the 10th of November. You remember that Steve did a PowerPoint presentation, and it was very well accepted and everything like that. We were supposed to do quarterly reports. That means that we're at number 2 and we should probably be at number 4, but I think the bottom line is that we're scheduled for one. In that regard, we also mentioned at the tail end of last week's meeting that we wanted to, I was suggesting that we have to have at least a couple more meetings, given that we have the holidays and everything like that. It makes a perfect sense if we could have, if the committee would like, to meet here at our normal starting time on Monday, the 10th, and then we can finish doing something on our agenda items, but then we can all be here to make the presentation and be part of the Select Board meeting. So with that being said, the first question comes, does anybody have any objection or inability to attend or whatever if we were to schedule a committee meeting 1 week from today at the usual start time?
As long as folks are okay with my kids in the back again, I think
We welcome
fine
them.
with me. And then I'm pretty sure I could have them out by the time the select board meeting starts. So.
Well, we'd want the Select Board, you to be here with us.
Yes, I could be there, but I think my wife would take the kids home by that point. So
Well, the more the merrier. I mean,
sure, that's an option too. But
they were very well behaved, I gotta say. I mean, certainly much more attentive and, I mean, you didn't even know they were there. Okay, so, fair enough. Should I schedule the meeting and proceed with an agenda and all that stuff?
Yeah.
The next part is that, as you know from the messages I've been sending, that Gary and I have sat down and gone through and come up with a proposed PowerPoint. Now, I say the word PowerPoint just as a use of the word, because all it really is a Word document that has, I think, 8 pages or something like that. And we've come to an agreement. If we seem to have this ability, and if Chuck is going to be available there and would like to run it, all we need now is to take whatever, have them go to you guys for you to do a quick review.
And put it into
and
a
then make
PowerPoint.
any changes or recommendations or whatever. Then we have the final product being put into a PowerPoint format, and then we have somebody to run it. So everybody on board with that?
Well, I think for the select board, I think if we get it, Robert, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we have a presentation, would we send it to Donna?
Yes.
Because she kind of runs the screen
Absolutely.
during that thing, right? And I think it's more complicated to move away from one computer to another. And
So she doesn't project anything up.
so who projects? Is that?
So usually we have a separate computer for
Okay.
that, just for the Zoom though.
'Cause it's-
Because we have Zoom up there, so like Kirk and whoever else joins remotely is up there, but we can supersede them and just have your information. So,
Oh, so it would be okay.
yeah, so I would bring your computer.
As I recall, and I may be wrong, and unfortunately we don't have Steve to give us some insight, but when Steve did his PowerPoint presentation, he did it from the podium. And one of the things I did talk to Nick at the cable committee meeting was, could that be something we could do? And apparently there's something broken over there.
So yeah, the smart board tablet on there is broken.
Yeah.
So on Wednesday when Ryan from Suzer IT is here, I'm going to have him come up here with me, and we'll go through all of this to see what's working, what isn't, and what we could possibly do for future meetings. So
Okay.
I'll have some more information for you.
Well, bottom line is, what you're seeing right here is the cover sheet of, and you'll notice everything's in bold because that's how I do things. But this is what it looks like. And again, I'll send this out if you guys,
Yeah, I think we saw it.
Yeah.
You did send it out. I only had one comment to where we hope to go, and I just wanted to make sure we're all in agreement that we think that this might go longer than May of 2026, which I didn't think we thought it did.
well, those are not installed. First of all, we're going, we got spring and we got early spring and all that. What is it that you didn't like that's in May?
The part where it said final charter draft submitted to the select board, I don't think will be fall 2026. Won't we have that done earlier?
Well, we have what?
Won't we have that done earlier? Aren't we
I don't know.
submitting our charter in March
So
or April?
I think the answer to your question is yes,
Yeah.
but that was not the quote final one, because after we do it in March or whatever that time period is, then we're going to get the series of feedback from the select board, from the town people, and from potentially council. So we're going to have a final one. At that point, it's final.
Oh, like final as in the town already.
Well, you see the
it?
difference is
No,
this
it's
final
final-
draft and this final, the final draft charter is still a draft charter. The
Yeah.
final charter is the one that will be going, but that's the one that the select board have to vote on
Correct.
and then have to make it a warrant article.
But I think to Matt's point,
I thought we were doing
this
that at the
that's
spring
highlighted,
one.
Yeah.
That's going to happen when we complete the draft, isn't it? As soon as we complete it, wouldn't we send it to the select board and town council?
That's the point right there. Well, see, because we may have amendments to it. We're going the fall of 2026. Again, that's just a placeholder. But the final charter draft submits to the select board. The select board's going to review it. They're going to tell us things about it. I don't want you to have this in there. You don't have this in there.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go out to our stakeholders. And then we're going to have what the select board has told us they would like to see or don't want to see, and then the
Yeah, no, I get that.
stakeholders, and then we're going to go back and write one up, and then we're going to give that to the select board if you go forward a little.
I just thought we could accomplish all of that in the spring, January to April.
I think we're going to be still doing some
think so?
drafting, knowing our speed,
Yeah.
knowing the holidays.
Okay.
I think we're going to be doing some drafting well into the springtime.
Yeah.
So do we need to add then on that a special town meeting? We don't know when that will be. You're suggesting it could be
Fall.
fall of 2026?
Well, we certainly don't, there's we
20.
special.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Small, yeah, it's going to be fall, it's going to be, like the next, the special town meeting on the MBT thing is December. That's the kind of time frame we're looking at to be going to the, and I've done the legal research to find out that we are able to present that to a special town meeting. We have to get together with some people to talk about how to do it, because we're going to have all these articles with sections, and I don't, it might be one thing to have an Article 1 and have that voted on, and then Article 2 voted on, or we want the whole thing. Well,
Yeah.
if we have the whole thing, it's going to be great, but unfortunately, we may get bogged down on it. We are in, and that one of the reasons I suggest that we definitely need to, have more meetings, 3 a month, although November and December are going to be hard because of the holidays, so I don't think we're really going to be, we'll be doing good if we can have 2 meetings in those months. But be that as it may, keep in mind that these are our target goals, but, look at us now. We've had all these meetings and we're on Article 1 of the, and it's going to get more complicated when we start talking about,
Okay, so we just need to revise that and then.
well,
get
what
their
would you like to
feedback on
revise?
it. Okay.
Do you want to change something?
We are revising our original timeline that we
Yes.
proposed to them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so on the slide, it would probably be just revisions to the timeline, recommendations.
Okay. So anybody have anything that you want to change on that, or so we can, or do we go right to the PowerPoint of Chuck? Could I assume that you would be the man that would be running the table?
My upcoming week, I'm not going to have time.
Okay.
I apologize.
No, that's understood. Anybody else think they want to try their hand at PowerPoint?
I might be able to help with it.
Well, that's,
I have a couple questions here.
Yeah.
on the, how it all started. Two things I think we need to add, because they're extremely important. I think we have to add the input gathering.
What are we at?
The,
So we had January to August of 2025.
legal research, review, and discussion of existing Massachusetts city and town charters.
We had obtained input from town boards, commissions, committees, managers, employees, and residents. And number 4, the second, you see that?
Oh, okay, yeah, so in the,
Third call.
Yeah.
but why is that, to me, that's more important than the legal research, right? That we met with 240.
Well, no, we didn't. That's the problem. Only some of us did. But the bottom line is,
But wait, what do you mean by that? So,
there should have been open
Sure.
meetings. There should have been meetings that we did on,
Didn't
just like we're
happen.
doing here.
The information is there. You want to reformat it, that's fine, but I can't see the headings right now in terms of how the document reads. What's in the
Yeah,
Go to-
columns above
To
that,
the top, so
Chuck?
we can see what the,
How it all started,
What happened in
what happened,
assignments?
what were the assignments?
okay.
because to me, one of the most compelling things we've done is got feedback from.
Right, but understand that
people, right? Like-
this, we're taking off, that's just such an, we could have had 10 pages on what we've done since January. Until,
But to me, that's like the top thing we've done, right?
but
is
that's
we've
on the,
gotten
that's
done.
on this website, that was in the presentation, and, you know, I mean, if you want to put in there, you know, what was done, that we met and talked to all these people, I mean, if we say we talked to 250 people, well, there's going to be number 251 that's going to say, I didn't get a chance, because we didn't talk to everybody, we talked to everybody that we were able to talk to.
Okay, I just thought input gathering was the main purpose of our first phase. And that
Well-
gets somewhat lost in it. If no one else agrees, that's fine. We can
No,
move on.
I understand, but this is not supposed to be the final report that says, this is everything we did. This is just kind of, the select board know what we've done, all right? We've told them about that. We've used that in some of the posters and boards, and it's on the website and everything like that.
I
don't-
think the select board would definitely want to hear like that information though. So like if there's one thing you're taking away from our timeline, it's that we met with these many people. And I love how much thought and effort is going into that, and they would too. So I would definitely want to harp on those points when you're
All right, so-
going to them.
Yeah, so maybe for the PowerPoint, we just do a slide on key takeaways and just high level point out some of the big things that happened, but then we can just revise the timeline of where we were and.
Yeah, you could do that, or even just highlight that as you're going through the timeline. It's great that you
All
break
right,
it out,
you know,
but the key takeaways.
I understand, but, okay, here's what I mean, I don't believe we're going to be able to get this revised and everything like that. I mean, the point of this was to just have a generic discussion, all right? I mean, about a PowerPoint that is trying to get to where we're going, not where we've been.
Yeah.
All right, so if we're talking about how many meetings that we have met with them, that's fine. I would like to know who wants to volunteer and go through all the list of meetings and the list of who was present and tell us how many people.
That's already been done.
No, it hasn't. I keep hearing different numbers. Where is it done? I looked for it on the
don't
board
think-
today, and I didn't
don't
find
think
it.
that level of detail is needed. I think your whole point of this is to bring them up to date.
Yeah.
And I think if you really wanted to have, to address, Chuck's concern, specify in one sentence that, that our meetings, were X number of people, X number of boards, whatever it is, just to show the volume of work that was being done. And whether you want to say that on the screen or you want to say that in person before them,
Yeah.
I don't care, but that's the message that we want to give. It's
Right.
been the work we're doing now was as a result of all the feedback that we had received.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah. And I just want to make sure that the feedback we've received is emphasized, right? That's one of the key things we want to emphasize.
Yeah.
And I know I know 240 is level of detail, but that's a compelling number. Are you saying you don't think that's an accurate number?
I don't know because I read the last article from the landmark on there, and it has a number in there. I remember being at
Free Press has a number?
I'm sorry?
And then Wachusett Free Press had a number? Where are they getting these numbers? I thought we gave them to them.
Yeah, I thought so too. All I know is that when you're dealing with something that talks about numbers, we shouldn't be seeing different numbers everywhere. I'm not prepared to say that we need, at this point in time, with all the things, we have like 20 minutes left to go in the meeting. We haven't even started looking at the articles. We're talking about a simple 10, maybe 15-minute report, probably not, report to the select board. There have been newspaper articles, there have been, Paxton days. We have an hour, we've talked to all kinds of people. How many? Over 200. I would say over 200 people.
Beautiful.
That's
Over
fine.
200.
But what about, I talked to some people that nobody else talked to. All right? I'm sure that you guys have all talked to some people, and I didn't keep in a log of that. I talked to at least 3 people at the soccer asylum event. So if we
It
start
doesn't have to be an
adding,
exact number, but
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So why, let's just say that we talked to over 200 people.
All right,
that's-
whatever the
that's-
number is, right? That's a compelling number.
Okay, so if you,
Right.
and if you think it's important to get it in there, why does it do this?
It goes to sleep and then,
It goes to sleep.
yeah, like all of us. And
Okay,
I like it.
so where would you, what amendments would you like to make? I mean, exactly on here. Where
All
would,
right, so do we add, well, I think almost input gathering deserves its own thing.
yeah, let's go. Let's do
Right,
it
so
right
if
now.
how do I? So if we do this, we change this to 5. Input gathering.
Okay, but that's the time we're talking about. Is that January through
Oh,
August?
whoops, my bad.
I love this. We got the stuff here. We're making changes.
And when did we do that? We did that February, March, April?
February through August.
I don't think we did.
That is not correct.
Just until,
July was when
Right,
I feel like
you
it
guys
was in
ended up
June.
meeting individually with the
right,
select
so
board.
it's to the end of June.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about 2 separate things. There was like the select board committee group that met. That's the interviews you're talking about for a number. And then there's the general
those-
public. There's 2 separate things.
There wasn't a committee meeting. It was just, it was Steve and Paul that went.
Yeah, yeah.
And
There were a lot.
Those were just, there was one with each individual select board, but I believe we'd already gotten feedback from them, so that was more of a report back than actually solicited.
So the line that you're putting in, Chuck, is actually the line that you have above that.
yeah,
It just doesn't have the numbers.
Trouble for the newsletter.
Obtain input, yeah.
yeah. Just put obtain input from more than
We did.
over 200
We did,
people.
we did.
But see, okay.
And I think Steve's goal was frankly to meet with every single board
Yeah,
that we were able to
Right.
acknowledge still exists.
yes.
Right.
But where you see that when we get to the point about the administrative organization, you start learning about all the different appointments that are in there that are made that you've never heard of.
All right.
So,
Okay.
The fence viewer, for instance.
What is it?
We have a fence viewer.
Oh, a fence viewer?
Yeah.
So does that
We didn't
take
meet
care
with the
of
fence
it?
viewer.
Well, I wonder if there's a way to work in this
Whoa.
civic engagement fair. Because and the reason I think we should mention the civic engagement fair is because we asked a lot of people to support that and give up time. And we had over 40 people give up a Saturday night and come to that thing. So I don't want them to think that wasn't important enough, right? Like,
We'll get at it on.
So scroll down in terms of
September, added October.
should I add it as its own item? Should I roll it into something else?
Yeah.
No, own item.
Yeah, it should be its own item.
because it goes in line, you know, in reality, you've done a lot of communication with the media, and this really was a further extension of that communication, but it also was part of the feedback that we had received, that there was a desire to have more contact with the various members of the boards and to develop a better relationship and get more people engaged. So that really was an outcome of what our original meetings were.
Yeah. Okay. I might play around with this a little bit.
Chuck, what do we talk
I'm-
about additional boards? The boards that we were there, we already met with them.
We partnered with, additional in terms of us, so we partnered with the zoning board and the,
Economic development.
Yeah, but we met with those already and met with them.
I know, but for this initiative, we partnered with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Don't use cornhole. It apparently causes some people to have a problem with it.
Cornhole?
Yeah, I learned that at the cable meeting.
So Dave, in addition, for the meeting next week, we're reporting to them, giving them a quarterly update. But is there, looking through the kind of the information, is there information we need from the board or clarification that we need
Your
from the select
questions.
board?
Your
Right,
questions
so is
on
that
there.
really where we want to, we want to make sure those questions gets answered
Yeah.
next week from the board? So should we look at those?
Well, we got to get, yeah, okay. So everybody sees that we've changed, and I'm not marking, public engagement is definitely what we're trying to do. And we're never going to stop doing that, and we've done an awful lot, but I just don't want to get bogged down in the numbers. Over 200 is I mean, I don't know. I've heard the numbers at different times, and I don't know where they're coming from,
I think we're stuck on that.
where they were. I mean, I have to keep my own
Well, I think
record,
Steve at some point counted them up.
right?
So,
I think over 200 is a safe assumption.
Yeah.
How much time do
200
we
is a
have
good
for
one.
the select board? Can we confirm? Is it 10 to 15 minutes they're giving the charter review?
I would probably say that's the
Okay.
best.
That way we can figure out the minutes per slide. If, we have 3 slides, we've got 5 minutes per slide, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Not a lot of
as
stuff.
far as these questions, are you sharing these with them prior to the meeting so they can have?
Well, once we get through this, I will send this out to you and to Donna,
Okay.
and if you think it's appropriate, send it directly to them. I think,
We've already introduced this to them in some way, haven't we? I know we've talked to Peter about this.
I just want to make sure that they have like a well-informed response, so it's not just like off the cuff, that
Right.
you have
Yeah.
like a
And
good
this
response to your
isn't,
questions.
this isn't the first they're hearing of these questions.
Okay.
no, we submitted months ago 4 questions after having a rather energetic discussion about them. But those,
I thought we were hoping to keep the title shorter, too. I thought,
that is the legal title.
so
Home Rule Charter Drafting Committee is what?
can we just call it, I thought we were going to call it the Charter Committee.
The what?
The Charter Committee.
We can call it anything you want, but,
No, I thought we discussed this at a prior meeting, no? Am I?
no, because there's 2 different, if you say Charter Committee, now you're opening yourself to the, not the Home Rule Charter process, but the other process, which requires not only a town meeting vote, but it requires an election vote. We want to specify, use the word Home Rule Charter, because that's the process we want to use.
But we have to do it in our title.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I thought we did
I
already
thought we
agree on
discussed this, we reached a resolution of this already, no?
All right, if this committee goes from being a charter review committee to the charter committee, that means we have to divide option A and option B. All right? And then we have to address what is best, why we're doing A and B. Then we have to decide. And then there's another question that has to be resolved out of the charter, but which option is the select board going to
Yeah.
choose? I don't want to actually suggest to the select board that if they want to go out, they did not give us, we've never had the option A charter. We never had that. That's the one where you have to have an election. You have to have the committee be elected. It can't be appointed. So we would go away, there would be a town election, they would elect candidates to the board, and then the board would start doing what we've done already. So we don't want option A. We want a home rule charter petition.
I don't know if that's an unanswered question we want from the select board, though, because I thought we voted on this already as a committee.
Okay.
Didn't we?
Do you want to have a discussion with the select board explaining to them things that they already know? And we're just trying to get the title of the, I don't care, we'll leave it at anything you want. But I'm just telling you, if you do this, then we have to have a special election.
If we do what?
If we don't use the word home rule charter.
So, let's go back a step. When Dave had sent me the four.
Yeah, these
first of
questions
all,
aren't on, I don't know where this came from.
I was not on board with number one,
No.
and I was not on board with number four.
Right, and I deleted number 1 and 4.
So the one with number two, we had asked the select board for consideration to meet with either current or in the future with town council because of the issue of whether or not there actually existed a charter or not. And they were going to get back to us. And I think in part, that goes connected with number two.
Okay,
As
so
to
maybe.
whether or not that a charter currently exists, that may change how we operate going forward. And then, so really, the questions 2 and 3 go hand in hand, but those are our marching orders, and I think we just need to get some clarity as to what that is, and from a different perspective, take that away from us. It's on somebody else, so that way we can do our job in terms of drafting and of outreach, and let someone else worry about the reality of the title and the impact it either doesn't or doesn't have upon our work that we have to do. You know what I mean? We shouldn't be debating, in all sincerity, the title for this. If Dave's correct, and he probably is, that's on town council to make that determination as to what it's going to be called. It's not on us. We were given the charge of drafting it.
That's right.
So let's draft it. And
So now we're proposing a new title for ourselves.
Yeah, so maybe the question is wrong. That's what, I think what are we asking of
Well,
number two
we
then?
had proposed that new title a time
All right,
ago.
let me-
We realized that it really has to come from someone above us.
Okay.
Right. That's why
But
we...
you're saying this is an old version?
No, I'm saying that item number 1 and item number 4, right?
4.
Were deleted from, Gary and I proposed a draft, Gary came back with some responses, and I implemented the responses that Gary gave. So.
You sent this to us, though. So you sent us the wrong version?
No, I sent you, well, I sent you this version, all right? And all this version has, which we're going to get into discussion. Now, I want to point out that we're not going to be touching on any of the articles that have been scheduled for today. All right, this is, I mean, we talk about, are we going to get things done in spring or whatever of 2026? We're not getting through this. And these are questions that were already asked and debated. All right?
And I thought some of them were resolved, and now it seems like we went back.
No, we never, how were they resolved? We presented the question to the select board. We haven't got an answer. We're asking the select board to consider this. Given the scope, is it proper? They're not going to answer that. The town council is going to answer that. And if they answer it one way, we say goodbye, because we're not elected. If they answer it the other way, which is the home rule charter, which is why I put home rule charter in there, we have all kinds of stuff that we had at the very beginning. I made a number of statements as to how the project works. If we are a home rule charter committee and we're given the mandate to write and draft and proceed as a home rule charter thing, then we're on track. If we go the other way, option A, we have done our business. All we have to do is draft up a charter and finish this and give it to them. If you look at the chart, the time chart, okay, where it talks about presenting it at town meeting, we can't present it at town meeting. Home rule charters get presented at town meeting by committees that are not elected. The other type of charter starts out with a charter committee that is elected. And the selectmen don't appoint them. You run for that office.
Oh, wait, but you said 2 of these had been deleted, so should I delete those?
Well, we're talking about them. We didn't want, Gary, I didn't want to delete this until we explained why we were deleting it. These are the first questions that were proposed. Gary suggested 1 and 4 should go away. I agree with him, but rather than us, 2 of us saying no to something and not letting you know about it, we're asking you. But if you,
Should we delete them?
So,
I mean, yeah, we
I
asked
think we know we're
Pete
not gonna
already,
do
number
money.
one. We asked Pete
We
in a
don't know.
meeting about it.
well, you know, they're starting the budget now. We'd like to get somebody to, there's a reserve fund that they could possibly give us some money, and they're going to be setting up for the spring, the first 4 months, they have to have a budget meeting, and they have to, that's the goal, to get appropriations. Yeah, we would like them to have that. We can't ask for them, at the end of the season. We have to ask them at the beginning of the charter,
Do you have a specific amount you're requesting?
Well, last time we were taught, we had $3,000 in the account, but that was removed when the
Did you just whistle?
No. That was my internal list.
I was thinking like $350 or something for snacks.
was like, that's a lot of
or
snacks.
refreshments.
Yeah, it was. Well, maybe it was 300, but I thought it was 3,000. I don't know. I'm sure we can ask the chairman of the finance committee. He's the guy who put it in there and took it out of there. He had to take it out. He didn't have a choice. But I mean, they put some money in there.
so the thought process behind removing number 1, it would be simply more of a conversation than a major question to be asked.
Yes.
And the reason behind number 4 was that we're too far away removed from dealing with the moderator at a special town election for us to worry about that yet.
Yes.
So
that's
the 2 and 3 were pretty much what we need to know, so we're able to move forward.
Okay, so does anybody have any thoughts as to whether or not, besides Gary and me, about number 4? Should it remain or should it go?
I agree with Gary that it should be removed until a later date,
Okay,
not for this meeting.
okay, so number 4 can go away.
And I think 1
Number 1,
remove because we already had asked that question and got our answer.
I mean, it's a little bit too early. I initially put it in there with the idea that, hey, might as well hit them early, that we're going to hopefully want to do this and, keep it put in the back of their minds because, the
I think we want to
town
propose if
administrator's
we
gonna
want,
be
Yeah.
if it's budget
preparing,
time.
a budget.
Because if we're rolling
Yes,
out,
exactly.
if we're rolling out this charter, it's gonna.
If
right?
what?
If we're rolling out the charter to present to people, we're gonna have to have it printed and something, right? We'll need a budget, I think.
Yeah, I would think so.
So I think our number 1, if we're going to keep number 1 in, I think we need to propose a budget and say we are recommending for consideration that we add
Yeah.
$1,000 to the budget for the purposes of XYZ. I think the question, they're not going to know the answer even if we ask it. What we're asking is we would like to add this number to the budget.
I don't know if I'll check with the finance committee chairman. And I will ask them what they put in, the initial proposed budget.
So we are in reality probably 5 or 6 months away from finishing this charter. So any monies that we're going to need for any kind of printing or anything else is going to happen come springtime. And I think that all we got to do is just have a conversation with them and say, look, here's what we need in the future. When's the best time that we can come back and talk to you about this? I really don't think it is material for us to have that conversation next week.
I don't think we should, we're not having this conversation this week. I mean, we bringing it to their attention. That's all.
When does their budget for 2026 close?
I'm sorry?
When does the budget for 2026 close?
June 30th, the 2020, fiscal year 26.
Yeah, we're not going to have the budget done.
Oh, it's not until 2026?
Yeah, probably
Oh,
the
okay.
early stages.
Sorry, we're doing that right now this week with work for 2026. That's where my head is. That's why I'm like, wait, we do need to do it now.
If we're
Okay.
going to get any money out of the current budget,
Yeah, okay.
it's going to
Nope,
have to
that's
come
all- that's
out
my
of
biggest
the
question.
slush
Agreed.
fund, the revolving account.
That changes my mind on number 1. We can remove it because I thought the budget was the same as like corporations, but it's different.
Same as the what?
Like corporations, it's not, the town is June of next year, so it's
Fiscal
totally
year.
different.
No, Town's fiscal year is
Yep,
July 1st.
okay.
All right,
And my concern with the name is that it presents communication challenges. If we change our name to something that looks much different, people are going to wonder, is this a different committee? Right? Like the way it's worded, it seems like we want to change
all
it.
right, I move that we strike number 1 and we leave just number 2 and change it to unanswered question.
Is your unanswered question, though, more of, we didn't get an answer from the select board about whether or not we had a charter and how we proceed from there?
We never had that question answered.
We never did.
No.
So that's our question. Their acknowledgement of whether or not we have one, how we proceed.
Right, but the bottom line is, if they answer it in a certain way, then that whole thing comes back in terms of how we're going to be
Okay.
entitled.
Do you remember,
So step one.
do you
is
remember
an answer.
when we were dealing with the introduction and there was that big paragraph that I put in italics, which was a quote?
Yes.
And did you remember what it said about charters? That special act legislation can act as a charter? So as a lawyer, I can tell you that I would argue either pro or, I can argue just as easily as I argued that there was no charter, that there is a charter. All right, at this point in time, it's essentially academic. We just want them to understand that we're not modifying anything. What we're doing is we're writing a new one. Otherwise, we're going to go in and we're going to have to take the 2013 Paxton Governmental Act and we're going to have to hang things into that. And that's a drafting process. And I can tell you quite frankly, it will cost thousands of dollars to do that because you will not find a lawyer that will do that for nothing.
But I think the question is, are they charging us to draft a home rule charter? And if the answer is yes, do we have to change our name?
No, you're missing we're drafting a charter.
Right.
All right? We are drafting a home rule charter or we are drafting an option A charter. Option A or option B. Home rule charter is what I want to
Is the
draft.
special act charter, just to
No.
clarify, is the home rule?
Home rule charter is a special
So,
act.
okay, just for clarification.
Yeah,
So those
home
are the
rule
same
is
thing.
a special act.
So then what is the other,
That's the one
Just
where
charter.
where the select board prepares an article for the ballot box to have an election, to establish a committee, an elected committee. It's a committee that would then be appointed, not be appointed, they would be elected by the townspeople. That committee would then review and draft and present to the town meeting. The town meeting would then vote. After the town meeting voted, it would then go to the people to vote on the charter in an election, not in a town meeting. It takes away the town meeting power. All
But what
right?
is that called? So how do we refer to that?
Call it option A.
Call it
Right.
option A?
Yeah, option A or option B.
It is good to discuss this, because I feel like if we're not clear on the ask, we're going to go through this dialogue and waste a lot of time at the select board meeting. So I feel like just getting specific on this is actually a good exercise.
No, I had special act in there. You're taking out the word, the legal word is special act charter.
That
Okay, so why don't we
wasn't
call
in
it
there.
that, right?
It wasn't in there.
Leave special act in there.
You didn't have it in the original, just so you know.
So we intend to draft a special act charter or a charter review, or a home rule charter.
No, special act home rule charter.
those are the same.
They're the same.
And so that could be option A, and then what is option B called?
Okay. Option B is what we want. We don't even want to mention option A.
Then
Please.
why are we putting, this is that's option A right up there, special act home rule charter.
No, special act is
Wait.
option B.
I'm really confused.
That's
So-
what we're trying to.
There's a special act home rule charter.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to note that it's 1846 hours. We have
Can we read all the single question out? So it's a special act home rule charter
Yes.
And then option A? Well,
All charters are home rule charters.
I don't think the select board probably knows this. Do you think they do? So I
I'm
feel
sorry,
like
what?
this is a good
I have no
exercise,
idea. Yeah.
right? I feel like they're going to be equally as confused if we don't spell it out.
But this is not, okay. It's 1846, I motion that we adjourn.
the year 1846?
Well, how
Do
do
we have a second?
No, because how do we resolve it from Monday if that's a select board meeting?
We can't resolve it.
Could we just spend 2 more minutes
What
to
are the,
resolve
but what
it?
are the
The only
two,
way we can
what are
resolve
the
it.
two options, though? You say there's an option A and an option B.
Did you hear me talking about people getting elected?
Yeah, but how do we,
That's option A.
how do
Option
we
A,
refer to that in a succinct way?
all charters are home rule charters. The state does not dictate and give you a charter. Home rule charter means that the citizens of the town create a charter and they send it up to the legislature for them to act and then the governor to enact. Okay? There are two types of charters. All right? There could be a third one, but
Let's
that's
focus on two. What's one and two? Just
the one is it's referred to as option A. It's called a constitutional charter. That's one of the words. Geez, I took it out of the definitions. I'm suggest.
So would you suggest we just put, are we being charged with drafting a special act home rule charter? That's it. Don't give them the other option, which would make you have to get elected.
Because they,
Just as that simple.
considering
question.
that the town on two different occasions, in 2013 and then when they went to 5 ward selectmen, they used the special act process.
Yeah.
We just want them to, we don't want them looking and considering that we take it from the fact that they have already talked about us to do a special act, then there we are. That's what we want them to say. We just want to make sure that the committee says you will draft a charter. All right? But we don't just want to draft a charter. We want to create a charter and then bring it through the process, the town meeting, to the legislature. If you look at, again, if you scroll down to the beginning there,
down or up?
up. See right there at the bottom of this special town meeting approval, disapproval. Members must approve the home rule petition by simple majority vote. They can make revisions. If approved, the town clerk will assemble a certified copy of the approved charter with any revisions and special town meeting minutes. That is the process for a home rule special act charter. I did not put what the process for the option A charter is because we don't want to even consider that. And we have to take it on faith that since the select board has talked about special act charters, that they did the intergovernmental acts as special acts, substituting as a charter, at least for what it covered. Didn't cover everything. So we're getting.
What can you say? We are recommending a special act homeroom charter. What are the implications of that? Do we need to change our name?
I'm just saying, actually, in order to reflect our our next step. We have the charter review committee. We reviewed the charter. We told them it needs changes. Now we're drafting a charter. All right.
Right? Can we just drop review then? I thought we discussed this. I think Pete Bogan suggested charter committee.
Okay, but
I'm arguing this from my role as on the communication.
I'm arguing this on the role of that we're using legal words. All right. If you want to call it a merry-go-round charter, go ahead, but it's not going to be
That
legal.
sounds fun.
Let's do that. All right.
But you can't address the legality within our charge. It has to be addressed within the title.
Yes, because this is the heading of the chart. This is heading of the document that's going. The letter is going to say to the legislature. I mean, can you see what would happen if we had? Imagine we go to town meeting, and somebody up there. I mean, I've seen this in town meetings that I've gone to about 25 cents in the budget. That one of the, our town fathers wanted to look at. If we go in there, somebody sends up this, says, can I ask a question? Yes, of course you can. You're a voter, you're here, and why aren't we using why aren't we using the other kind of charter? You guys were never elected. We don't want to get into that. Because what's before you is, if you want to propose that the town moderator create a committee to be elected, go ahead. But we don't want to even have that. We want to just close this. No, we're a special act charter. We did not go there because that's not our mandate. Right now, it is bilious. It's, you don't know what we are what we don't have anything other than what we think was the legislative intent, if you will, or the executive intent when they did what they did. All right?
So who's presenting on Monday?
I don't know, I'm going to be sick that day.
Yeah.
So Chuck, the what you have drafted there for number one is not consistent with what we just spoke about.
Right. So do we want to just eliminate it, or do we want to?
Well, I think we need to reword it, but I think the question's got to be asked to clarify it. But I don't, as Dave said, I don't think we want to give them an option, especially option A, because they've already chosen not to do that. If they chose option A, we wouldn't be here. In reality, they would have done this in a totally different format, and our body would not have been created by the select board, is my understanding. So I think Dave's just trying to close the loophole to make sure that once we do our job, that we're using the appropriate name and title in order to identify what our role is.
Okay.
Am I saying that correct or no?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
We have finished reviewing the charter. We've come to the conclusion that we don't have a charter in the purest sense of the word.
Gosh,
Why?
we should start with that.
It's a select board meeting after?
That's our biggest finding, don't
No.
you think?
No, there's not a select board meeting tonight.
Well then, okay, let's.
Isn't that our biggest finding then through this process?
Yes, our
No,
business
don't think
finding
so.
is that we don't have a charter, because a charter defines the structure of government. That charter essentially defines, for the most part, a job description of a town administrator. There's a few little other things hanging in there, but there's nothing about, well, we know what there's not. We'll
But that was a question we raised back in the day to the select board, and they were going to talk to town council about whether or not a charter exists.
that's right.
And we never heard back.
We never got an answer.
Okay.
So
We
that's
should just ask the
that's a
same
question.
we asked before.
Yeah.
Ask this
That's-
exact same
So-
thing again.
Literally where I was trying to get at, yes.
So what's
There you
that
go.
question?
Again.
Do the select board have this, do the select board agree that, I guess we should say, I can't say it that way, because the Secretary of the Commonwealth has, if you had one, would you, we didn't find a charter. We were looking for a charter, we didn't find one. What we found was a special act, governmental act, that acts a little bit like a charter in certain limited areas. I mean, we don't want to say that. I mean, that's what we found. They already know that. We've already told them that. All right? But what we're talking right now is, now can we focus in on, we're going to draft a charter, but what kind of charter? Because drafting a charter, the charter can be the same thing that's drafted, but we don't have the authority to draft a charter if we're going to go the other way. And we're naturally assuming that they didn't mean for us to go away, because they seem to like what we're doing.
Yeah.
And
But in reality, if the question that we posed months ago had been given an answer to us, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
oh,
So that is the reality of why it's getting confused.
Okay.
I mean, we get bogged down on just a little bit of a thing that the reality is that we know what we want to recommend. We've already talked about it in less formal circumstances. And as far as the name of the committee, I mean, the only reason it takes any sort of significance is because it leaves a loophole. And you don't want the loophole that it leaves, because it would make essentially all that we've done not have to be redone.
Okay.
Well, how would that happen? Like, do you anticipate somebody challenging our work because our title isn't?
No, but you know what? The first thing you get taught in law school is that you don't leave loopholes. All right, that's why when we get to the definitions, you will see us talking about general law with a little g and a little l, all right? This is a legal document that we're drafting, and we're talking about the process that it's going to take. We don't want it to go to this process, we want it to go to this process. So that's why it is important to use the word special act, not plural, it's special act. Home Rule Charter.
So what's the question we have for the select board then?
At this point, we would just like our recommendation to take in all, our recommendation is to draft a charter that will be presented to the town as a special act home rule charter. And then we can ask, do the select board, given that we are currently a charter review committee, is it appropriate for the select board to authorize us to proceed. Gary, throw in a couple of words in there. To proceed under the,
You had the title before as a, and then
as a, yeah.
after word proceed, as a special acts home rule, right?
Yeah, as a special act home rule
Charter committee, right?
charter committee. Loophole, gone. I love it when they go.
But I thought we were asking town council if it was necessary to do that.
And so this is going to spur the conversation.
But it sounds like we're recommending that we change our name. Is that what everybody else wants? That we change our name?
I think because of the loophole, we almost have to, but that's okay. I think, and I know this is frustrating for David, but us non-legal lawyers,
No,
it's an
it's not
important
legal.
conversation because the charter, the select board are also not lawyers probably, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time with this on Monday in our limited time. So this question already makes more sense. So I like where this is headed, but I think for us, Chuck, from a communication perspective, it's okay if we use this and we can say formally the Charter Review Committee, and that's even opposed to explain why we've updated our name. So I think we're okay. I don't think we've done enough in the town for the Charter Review or this Special Act Home Rule Charter to make a difference. I think we're still going to move forward with what we were doing. But I think for protecting us, we have to change the name. That's what I'm hearing.
We don't have to do anything. We
But
can just leave
we're
it.
recommending we are.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's our charge. We recommend we
mean,
are.
for what it's worth, people have paid money to ask me that question and then have me answer that question. So, I mean, the reality is you can do it or not do it, but, I mean, the
We wanna be
town is the
successful.
client, and we want to do what's best for the town and what's best for the town's people.
Okay.
All right? And the best thing you could do for that is not send them down the path that will just bog this thing down. Some people have asked, what happened to this charter? I mean, there's 2 charters that we looked at that were shot down. And Chuck, you asked this question, and I'll tell you the answer. Yes, there was a person who stood up at a town meeting and said, wait a minute, I read this thing that you put up, and it says there's this other way that we could get a charter, and we get to vote for people. We didn't vote for you. And so the town meeting said, and that's where it is. And they haven't been able to get anybody to want to run to be on the elected. So the appointed committee has to come back, and all the way, they're now going back and trying to create a charter committee, a special act charter committee, so that they won't have to, and that's the only thing that happened. Will that happen in Paxton? No, probably not. We have very intelligent
But
people.
wouldn't that happen with or without the name?
Well, let me put it this way. If your driver's license says that you can drive between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 p.m., and if you're driving at 2, would it matter?
Yeah.
It would, because you'd be operating without a license and subject to arrest. All right? So, yes, it would matter, because the use of words, and I don't want to say this again because I've said it too much in our history, but words matter. That's why we're doing definitions, at some point. Does anybody want to continue and talk a little bit about the articles, or
Are we
You wanna go home?
good with the presentation? I mean, do we know?
I just want to know because if we're going to talk about this some more, then fine, but are we satisfied with this?
Well, the meeting is next week, and I feel like that's the most pressing. I mean, we want to have our act together in front of the select board. We don't want to be,
Well, no, I could just simply call Donna tomorrow and say we're not going to be presenting. I mean, she's asked me several times, are we going to be on the agenda? And I said, no, we have to get this before the committee.
I think we're close to being
Okay.
ready for Monday. Yeah,
Okay.
that clarity on that.
So no, you're going to try to put it together otherwise what we'll do is we'll just screen it like this, and I'll print copies, send copies out to everybody.
I think I can.
I did find your out of guidance request. So it was approved by FinCom back in March.
How much?
It was for $2,000. So it was $1,200 in postage, $300 for ads, and $500 for supplies. But then unfortunately that got cut.
See, I knew that we had done something. I thought it was $3,000. Maybe they cut it. We asked for $3,000.
And they cut down to $2,000, maybe.
So we've been cut twice. Hurts to the bone. So just for the record, thanks to the town administrator interim, or however, I just gonna call him TA, town administrator for now, because that other stuff is just, the reality is that he has done his research even as we speak, and he has come up with some numbers, seeing that we had nearly $3,000 in a budget for a short period of time.
2,000.
2,000. He already covered
Already
that.
trying to get another grand out of me.
I just thought you'd be so impressed with all of this that you'd want to give us $5,000. Okay.
So I have a question
Please.
that jumps off of this real fast. Let's assume that we have a charter, and we're five years away from now, and we have built into our charter that there's going to be a review of the charter just to make sure that things are good. At that point in time, would that committee that get formed be referred to as a charter review committee?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Charter review
So,
and amendment.
no, I'm saying that sincerely.
Yes.
Because right now, we have reviewed the charter, we've made a determination that the charter is either, it's unacceptable as a body itself, or it doesn't even exist, and we need to redraft the whole thing. in 5 years from now, they're not going to have to do that. They're going to be looking at individual sections to see what may need to be tweaked. So the difference is that we're doing it all from scratch. We're not just reviewing it, we're revising it, as opposed to making a subtle change. And I think if you look at it from those terms, it makes a little bit more sense.
You know, you have the mechanisms of a trial lawyer. I knew you had it in you. Look at you, got the hands going, closing argument, everything. Boy. I think that's a good point. And, I mean, they can turn around in 10 years or 5 years or whatever it is, and they could do whatever they want, whatever they're mandated to do, or whatever they get from the select board. Or they could go to the town moderator, because the town moderator can create a charter review committee.
Okay.
Anyway, do we want to continue, or do we want to, can we continue on some, get something going on? Maybe
No.
this,
I'm going to
I feel
say
like
no.
Yeah, I would agree, no. But I just wanted to close the loop, like Paul said on this. Are we good? So I can use this new revised version to put together a PowerPoint for the 10 to 15 minutes we're allotted on Monday.
Yes, if you can, do you think you can get it to me and Donna by 3 o'clock on Wednesday?
This Wednesday?
Yeah.
Let's do it Monday. Okay.
how about this?
If not, it would definitely just have to, I mean,
Isn't it mostly done? It's just a formatting thing for PowerPoint?
Yeah, this is, you're just taking.
Well, if we take this, it's going to be a 14-page PowerPoint.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it will. It's a lot of stuff.
It's to pull into the PowerPoint, it's not just a matter of formatting.
It's a lot.
not?
It's involved, yeah, it's kind of.
Okay.
There's a lot in there.
All right, then why don't we just do it like this? Why don't we just present it like this? Because I don't want to make anything, if you have to do it by Wednesday and you're concerned that you might be able or might not be, why don't we just not do it as a PowerPoint? I use PowerPoint in lowercase, which is significant, as you can tell, from the definitions of general laws. What if we just, this will be a Word document. I'll send it out with the changes. You'll email me this with the changes you made.
Megan, do you
This
think
is
we could
in
do
the file folder,
by
this is in the
Thursday?
Google Drive
It's
folder.
already there.
Okay,
Yeah,
So if you go to the
Probably.
November 3rd, it's in there.
okay.
Wednesday would be ideal, but we could stretch it.
I'll get to you tomorrow. I'll send it tomorrow. I'm going to send this as with the changes in it, if we vote and approve it. All right, shall we just go through it one page by page and see?
You have like 30 minutes of content in this, I feel like.
I'm sorry, what?
I feel like if we only have 10 to 15 minutes, it's going to be a lot to share with them. Let me throw something together. I'll run it by you guys.
No, let's do it this way. Megan, we'll do it. This is not going to take a long time to do.
I wouldn't submit all of this. Some of this is your words, and it's not what you want. We don't need to, I don't think you need it all in what you're going to submit to them.
Because what you'll put together will have like the highlights, and
Correct.
then your section
You'll
would
speak to
actually
it.
be like the notes where the
Correct.
speaker is saying.
Correct.
So you're adding like,
Like I said, you would say this,
color to
Dave,
it.
but
That's
it
right.
doesn't have to be, that doesn't have to be in the presentation.
Exactly.
You don't have to have that?
No.
You just say it, you can just say it. Presentations are all about like minimal words.
brevity. Yes.
That's why I think I can summarize this for a PowerPoint.
I find it amazing that the communications people, it's like, and Martha's a communications people, they come to a courthouse, they watch what goes on, which is the epitome. I mean, talk about town meetings, I mean, like that, they're all, all over the place. And it's a question as to whether things get followed or, the
Can you
rules.
scroll down, Chuck?
But, I mean, I'm not going to read that. I got to point out what's on there.
How about the, so,
So when you get up there and read it, it shouldn't be part of the presentation.
is this something we want from the select board, the considerations? Is this part of our presentation?
This is what we're considering, right, as we go through it?
Yeah, go ahead. So go
Yeah, so
page
we
by
don't need
page
that on
and
the
tell us what you want.
Right.
Okay.
Wait, say that again?
So this isn't part of our presentation to the select board?
This is part of it.
The whole thing is what the presentation to
We
the
want to
select
ask the
board.
select board about our
We're
grammar.
not
and
asking them,
punctuation.
we're telling them that these are part of our thought process, our goals, our considerations as we draft the charter.
I see. So this is an update about it.
I would like, from a presentation standpoint, I would envision you just have the words. You just say, hey, this is what we're considering, and then boom, efficiency, effectiveness, governance, accountability. You would you would like delete all this stuff, right? Because then you want them focusing on those key words. So from a cognition thing, right, like, we don't necessarily want them reading all those words. We want them reading the key words.
Chuck, you would definitely do a word cloud there, wouldn't you?
No, I would do like words flying in.
Yeah,
I would do like, hey, as we do this, we're going to focus on efficiency, effectiveness, governance, accountability, right? Clarity, readability. Like, I would just have the key words if I was doing it as a presentation. Like,
You know, we have in the law, trial courts, we have what's known as a motion to deny the request. It's a formal motion, and it's called a motion ne recipiata. And I would tell you that this is a legal document, and it will be part of a public document. And if you remove some of the elements that are in there, then somebody officially, because remember, all this gets packaged up into a big box that goes to the legislature. And if they start seeing, wow, this looks more like something you hang up on the wall, you would never be able to impress them that you're right on the, you're doing this in their
Yeah.
ballpark. Remember where the game is going to be played on this.
Yeah, we're not saying that. We're just making it easier for the 10 to 15 minutes for the select board to get an update from us. We're
Yeah,
not submitting anything
this is
for
select
legal review.
But this will be part of it.
No, it won't. It's just an update to the select board.
Yeah,
Which
this
is a-
won't go anywhere else.
Yeah,
No,
this is
it
just
will
an
go in
update.
the big package. We have to take this,
No,
this should be, this Word document, or whatever we're going to call it, PowerPoint doc, this should be sent to the senator and representative for our district.
I don't think it
Yes,
does.
it should be. We are, right now, we are
that's a different
four.
thing then.
We're completely different.
Yeah, I thought this was just strictly for the select board on Monday, so that's why a PowerPoint presentation would be totally fine. It doesn't live on forever. It is just a quick update.
Is this a public record?
Well, I mean, I guess.
It's a public record. What's the how long does a public record have to be maintained by the Board of Selectmen? 10 years. Is this going to be a public record? Is somebody going to be looking at it? Yes. Should we send it? Yes.
Sure.
Okay, this is part of the last PowerPoint was sent.
Then
Okay.
I would propose that we don't do a presentation, we do a written report. You're talking like a written report that we would
It
send.
doesn't make any difference. Written report is going to be a public record too. Anything we're on.
No, but I'm saying, like, if we're focusing on this as a public record that we're going to pass on to other people, it should be, it's a different
That's
medium.
completely different.
Everything that is going to be presented at a meeting of the select board is going to be a public record,
Yeah, that's okay.
whether it's to be
Right.
just
PowerPoint or
lives
anything
with
else.
the meeting materials. It's not going
Yeah.
to,
It's not part of the drafting.
like,
But
yeah, part of
you-
the draft. or
You want to send this to our
anything like that.
representatives as well? Is always,
Then we need to spend more time than, this isn't prepared.
but that's a different type of a document.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
different thing.
I don't agree with.
Says, okay, so let me just ask you, just as a question. How many of these kinds of documents have you sent or not sent? In this kind of form?
I didn't think it was a document. I thought it was a presentation.
Yeah, just a
A
presentation.
presentation is a document.
Let me ask a question. So
Yeah.
when
Let
other
me talk to you about,
what
Yeah.
do they typically prepare for public record?
So some departments,
Yeah, like if
they just give a verbal update. They don't even send anything prior, and
Okay.
then it's just captured in the meeting.
and guess
Okay.
what? Guess what? The failure to put something in an agenda and not to have an agenda, that's why we have minutes. That's an open meeting law violation. The meeting that was here, which does no minutes, the one that we last saw each other at, that meeting is not a legal meeting. It could be brought as a
At
violation.
select board, they have.
Doesn't make a difference.
Like, update from Charter Review Committee, and it has it on there. Then there's minutes accompanying that afterwards. So
But it has to be on the agenda first.
Oh, correct. Yeah,
Right,
it's
48 hours in advance.
correct. It's always on there, but it doesn't necessarily have to have the presentation, what's going with it, or if that's not available.
If you are in the process of presenting something that has a document, all right,
Yes.
that
should be
document
there
has
if-
to be attached to the minutes.
Correct, but if you were going up.
This
just
document
talking
has
about
to be
it,
attached
don't-
to the minutes.
We could talk.
This document, when it's
presentation.
attached to the minutes, will be a public record. It will be a public record that can be part of the discovery process when somebody goes through to decide, hey, did they do the, we want to be bragging about what we've done. I mean, at one point, you're talking about, let's get over 200 in there, let's put, other than just saying we had all these meetings with all these people, we want to put a number on it. Okay, I understand that. I don't think it's something that is all that big of a fight about, but now we're talking about making a commercial as opposed to a document that is going to be a public record.
I guess, what are you asking us to do? I
Tell
think.
me what you want to do.
No, I think all we had to do was do a high-level presentation to the select board on where we were at. And that is literally what that 10 to 15-minute PowerPoint will do.
I suggest that.
Just like Steve did in the spring. Same thing. Right?
Okay. I suggest that you do whatever it is that you guys want to do, okay, and then be prepared to present it next week.
Well, I want to do whatever the select board wants of us. Is that more what you're looking for, or are you looking more of a detailed report?
I would think the high-level overview is more what they're looking for. I don't want to speak for them,
Okay.
but that's something I can get more information for
Okay.
you and send it to you tomorrow.
And that would meet your needs and meet the public records needs and
Correct.
all of those pieces? We would
Yes,
not
I will
be
make
out of
sure-
scope or in violation of anything.
Correct. Yes, I will definitely
Okay.
make sure that we're not
Make sure what?
violating open meeting law or anything like that. We want to make sure that we have all the materials and that I know that it lives on forever in those meeting materials. So we want to make sure that it's a good representation of all the hard work that your committee is doing. So that's definitely was never my intention. I just wanted the high level, good representation.
But why is this not a high level? Why, I mean, I don't understand why this is not, why you have, I mean, we're talking about modifying it, we've modified it, and now we're saying it's not what we want to present, because we want to present a high level. Well, what is a high level document?
You're going to present all of that, but
I'm not presenting anything.
I think it's
I will
perspective.
present something
Yeah.
that I don't,
I think when we say high level, we're meaning like the 10,000 foot.
Yeah.
Rather than getting too caught in the
Correct.
weeds, right? I think that's
Say
what
that
we're saying.
again?
Like the 10,000 foot view, like you're looking at it from high above, like just a general, this is where we're at, this is what we're doing.
and what is in there that isn't high level? We said welcome in there, that should be in there, because that's something you're going to say?
Well, that's better a
Missing it.
presentation. Like,
sorry.
Have-
there's two different things we're talking about. There's talking about a presentation we're presenting to them.
Yeah.
And then there's also written, I think you want to present written elements? Like you want to, like a report of some kind?
No.
No.
Help us,
This
Gary.
is a, whatever you write
Yeah,
is going to be attached to the minutes.
correct, along with the
It's going to be a
minutes.
public record.
Correct.
Everything you
Nobody's
say,
disputing that.
if somebody
Yes,
wants to, they
correct.
can,
not in dispute.
if somebody wants to, everything that was said in here can be transcribed.
Correct.
All right,
Nobody's
so
concerned.
what is in there that you think is not high level?
I think in part of it, that there's a desire to try to shorten it up a little bit and to make it a little bit more direct and within the time that we have from 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't think the intent was to change the messaging or anything
No.
else, just to clean it up a little bit.
I think
format.
it's more kind of principles of public speaking and presentations, is that when you do a presentation, you don't just read things word for word. Your visuals kind of support the presentation that you're doing. It's not, it's just more of a how you present information.
We do it for I mean, yeah, it's what it is a stylistic for the presentation to meet their needs, but you're still going to say everything and it'll still be recorded and it'll still be public record.
But not if I say, see, you're going to create a document. All right?
PowerPoint.
Yeah, or whatever. All right, that's your document. All right, so I think it's best if you present it. Because that way I will be able to watch and see what it is
that you're presenting.
I think we're
that's-
missing it. It's just a format. It's a format
There you go.
they're asking
Yeah.
of.
But if I stand up there and say something, you're going to look at me and say, no, that's not high level. I don't know what high level means in a public, I mean, all of my public speaking efforts
Okay.
have only been. in
Here's my
political
other
things.
option, and I'll put it on the table.
Do you
If I
wanna
can't-
do it?
No. Keep it the way you're doing it. Present the document.
No,
I was just trying to simplify the presentation.
Yeah.
And I can't, if I can't meet your deadline anyway, you've wasted no time. Just
So-
keep it the way it is.
So
Okay.
here's my suggestion.
Yeah.
Simplify it,
Okay.
send it to the appropriate parties, including us,
Okay.
and either Dave or I are going to make the presentation.
Okay.
Because you're not changing any of the true content, you're
Correct.
just cleaning it up.
Yeah.
And we should not have a problem dealing with that.
Correct.
And I thought
One
we
of
were
us will
doing
do
that
that.
here today, but we've done
Correct.
everything and we haven't done it, because you're going to go home and do something that I thought we were doing here today.
It's
I
just-
don't understand what we've
It's-
wasted.
a visual representation of the same information.
Make the change.
And present the changes. Okay, I move that we decide, and we have decided, I believe, that we are going to meet here at 5:45 next week on Monday.
Great.
There will be a select board meeting right after that.
As I said, one of us will take care of that in terms of the presentation.
Delivery?
Yeah.
That's what I figured. Okay.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Second.
Megan, just let me know where you're at. I
Yeah,
can
sure.
always